Hey guys, it's Robin, RsIslandCrafts, and welcome to my craft room. This is my WiP It Wednesday video where I show you everything I've worked on crafty-wise this past week, whether I worked on it for just a couple minutes or I've worked on it for days and days and days. This week, and once again, I'm sorry, it's going to be a little bit heavy on the knitting, so I'm going to go ahead and show you all the stitching and quilting stuff first, and then if you want, once again, if you want to go ahead and duck out after that, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I have made some significant progress on a couple of my knitting projects. So if that's something that you've been following me the last few weeks with, you might want to see how much I've gotten accomplished. For anyone who follows my Friday Sew With Me's, you have seen this. This is my scrappy Quilt As You Go herringbone quilt. I have finished all the quilting on it. The next step will be to trim the edges and put the binding on. I never actually got to it this week. I really just ran out of time. I've started and completed an embroidery project that you guys haven't seen yet. There's a wonderful blogger, Supermom No Cape. I follow her on Instagram and I've always read her blog for years. She puts out a free embroidery pattern. I don't remember if it's every Monday or every month or something, but she has embroidery patterns. She has a lot of those older cute little puppy dogs and kitten ones. And for October she put out this sweet little pumpkin. I decided to go ahead and color mine with some crayon just to give it a little extra color because I knew I was going to be putting it on white. Now my next step after this is I'm going to be trimming it up and I'm going to turn it into, I kind of almost feel like I want to do it in a scrappy hexagon shape or some form thereof, log cabinish, something like that. But I have to go see what I have for Halloween fabrics, and I'm hoping I have some orange ones left after I worked on my spider, because I think some orange and black would look really good with this. I also have the designs all put onto my hoops waiting for me to start the embroidery series. Embroider with me, maybe? Stitch with me? Stitch with me. What do you guys think? What would be a good name for this little series? So I'm going to do one. I mentioned this in the video that you should maybe have seen by now, that I'm going to do the practice. I'm going to practice the stitches on this red one because there's a whole bunch of flower and leaf shapes in a red heart. So I want to do the practice ones on here so I kind of get a feel for the stitch, so that when we go ahead and do it together on this nice clear white one, it's kind of a creamy beige color, then we'll be able to easily see the stitches and the colors are going to pop really nice off this. But I thought since it's a heart shape that it would be fun to have it be in red. So I got those all ready. And that's it in the fabric and embroidery department. Now we're going head on into the knitting. I have my dishcloth that I've done for the week. And I've started onto a green one. I haven't gotten too far yet, but that's okay. Like I said, these are just things I work on a little bit here and there. I've had other projects on my mind this week. I started to feel the crunch with Robbie's socks. We're getting into October now. I want to make sure that I'm putting some progress on him every week because with the size of his foot and everything, he wears a size 14 shoe and he likes them to go up onto his calf a bit. I want to make sure I'm getting some progress done. So I didn't get anything done on this sock apparently. This is the one I worked on. I probably got about 10 or 12 rows done. It's kind of hard to see. This is where the stitch marker is right here. I like to use these little thin ones. They just sit in the stitches without stretching them out. These are nice and bright and colorful and easy to see, but because the little hook here is just so thick, it tends to stretch out the stitches, and then I always worry about them. I know once you wash them and wear them, it'll probably block right back into shape, but I don't want to look at it all stretched out while I'm making it. You have seen these socks over and over again. I make the same style for him always. It's my basic vanilla sock pattern that I use for Robbie, and eventually I will get to the Fleagle heel. I stuck with my plan about trying to get a little bit of work done on my sweater each week. And once again, since the rows are so long, I ended up getting 5 more rows added to it. So now when I say 5 rows, that's actually going 1 row one way and then doing the back. So you see 5 rows on the front, but it takes 2 rows to create 2 laps, once this way and once that way, to create that row. So I'm going to say that even though I got 5 done, that, hey, I did 10, right? And with such a long sweater like this, that's a lot of stitches. I believe I am ready to start putting on another black line, and that is going to be my basic color sequence there. Since I'm working from the bottom up, I wanted my color sequence to be the blue, the pink, the yellow, and orange. I have no idea where it's going to actually end up when I get to my shoulders, so that will be the color sequence whenever we get up there. But this is my main 4 colors, well, in black of course, but these are my main 4 colorful colors of yarn that I'm using. I think this week I'm going to go ahead and start weaving in some of these ends so I don't have a bunch to do when I actually get to the end of the sweater. Because like each section here, when I get into the black, there's 4 ends that I have to weave in. 2 black and 1 for each color. And then of course you have the same thing over on this side. So we'll see. I just know when I get to the end of the sweater, I'm not going to want to sit there for days weaving in ends. And I've already made one sweater like this, as I explained, that I made it too big and had to take it all apart. And I'd woven in all those ends. Ay, ay, ay. I did get some work done on my miter square blanket. I was playing a little game with this last week. This is a self-striping sock yarn. So as you're going through, you can see that the colors change. Now, when you're working on a sock, like my sweater, you're going to see all the different colors, right? But in these little itty-bitty 2-inch squares, you're not going to go through that much yarn. I think I'm going through maybe 3 grams or something like that. I don't remember what the exact number is. It's been a while. But I wanted to see how many blocks, how many squares I can make out of this yarn before it actually got back to the beginning and started repeating itself. So here I am, I'm at this pink and yellow, right? So I'd started at the pink and yellow, and now I've gone full circle back to it. So that's square 1. And then when this yellow ended, I ended up going into this cream, into the blue. So that's square 2. And then this light blue went into the dark blue. That's 3. And that dark blue went into the pink. So that's 4. So then we're back to the pink and the yellow. So I actually got 4 different squares out of one thing of yarn. So even if you were trying to do something where you only use your yarn once, like now that I have this one, I would never use this again. Now I would use it again. But some people only want to have one of their squares. It's going to be a totally scrappy one. No squares repeating. I actually got 4 squares out of this one yarn. So if you're doing a scrappy blanket like this, it kind of saves you a little bit on having more yarn and spending more money. If you go ahead and have a self-striping, you can get different squares out of it. So I did end up getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and a bit. This is another color. This is these really nice rich blues and purples, dark blue, dark purple. Not sure. Purple doesn't always, this is purple right here. Purple doesn't tend to show up very well when you're working on a camera like this, but that would make a beautiful sweater. Okay, I totally lied to you guys. Look, I got a 5th square out of that. I went from this light pink into this dark pink. Then the dark pink goes into the yellow. So there I got 5 squares out of that one ball of yarn. So that was really cool. And then I have a simple gray one. And now I've got this fun little rainbow one going. What I'm trying to do right now is just to keep my sanity. I do this kind of in a stair where you have one here and then it juts out and it juts out and it just kind of goes zigzag all the way down. So what I'm trying to do is I have this whole row here. So I'm just trying to fill in this section here. And once this is all filled in and it's actually a rectangle, then I'll go ahead and I'll start building it up some more. That way I'm kind of going back and forth just gets really boring for this for me. If I were to make it just like you would a quilt and build the blocks all the way across, it's like drudge. It just takes me forever to get and add it like that. But I found that if I do the technique where you have it all jutted and you're just working diagonally down, it just feels like you're filling in these spaces right here. So this would be a square right here. So I'm kind of filling these in to bring it up to a rectangle, and it just feels like I'm accomplishing something. When you're working on a long-term project like this, you really need to have something to keep you going. Otherwise, you're going to get totally bored and you are never going to work on it. If you go into Ravelry, you'll find a lot of versions of the miter square blanket. I think they even might have some crochet ones now. So my final project is the one from Hoyi Locatelli, my 3-color cashmere cowl that I'm working on. I'm at the point where I'm kind of second guessing myself because I'm bringing in that red and white. So I'm like, whoa, it's kind of a shock against the purple. But this is the project that I've worked on the most. You can see this is where I was last week, and now I'm all the way up into this red and white. And it is definitely sticking out a little bit, but I'm going to be doing, they said 9 of each color and then finally another white one. So that's what, 19 stripes that are going to be on here, and these are little just 2 rows. So they'll probably come out to about here or so. And I think once I get the other purples in, it'll add that little bit of pop to it, but I'm hoping it doesn't stick out too much like a sore thumb. And if not, when you put it in a cowl and the cowl all scrunches up like this, you might not even see it. So if whoever I'm making this for does not like it, they can always tuck that part in. You can take it and put it like this in your cowl and it won't even be seen. Because as you've seen, this one, as we said, I believe it's 24 inches, 23, 24. That's pretty tall. A lot of this is going to be hidden. You can choose which parts are your favorite and let them be showcased. But I really like how this is coming out. I love these little holes, and it kind of, the way the holes are created when you knit 2 together, it makes this little bit of a spot here. It kind of makes it look like a little bit of a bumpy there. And it just adds such a nice look and a very good texture to it. And of course with this one, the back is just the same. So that's coming out really nice, and I'm really enjoying knitting on this. As you can see there, this is where the stripes are going to be. So I guess it's a little bit larger than I thought. But then after that, I have this whole long section of just one straight color. And I'm thinking about using this lavender for that, I believe. So yeah, I have it set up to use this lavender, this nice pretty lavender for this big point, because I wanted that to be the nice big chunk of it. I think that'll kind of, I don't know, I just kind of like this one. Instead of using the dark purple as the main point, I thought this light lavender will make it look really nice. So that's everything I've worked on this week. Go ahead and leave a comment down below and tell me what some of your projects were. I love to hear what everyone else is doing on their WiP It Wednesdays, or just what they're doing each week. I like the way it builds that community, and we all kind of just chat back and forth about the projects we're working on. And I really love the support that everyone gives you, that you feel really motivated when someone's like, yay, you know, you're doing great, you're doing a great job, your projects looks wonderful. So I hope you guys get a lot done on your projects this week, and I'll see you next Wednesday on another WiP It Wednesday. Bye!